Am I the a-hole? My parents had a one-night stand, and I'm the result of that. The relationship with my mom has always been strained because she resents my dad for not being with her after they made me, something she has voiced on and off for my whole life. Even when I 16 was like 5, I remember her ranting about how selfish my dad was for that. She engaged in parental alienation a lot over the years, but the courts never did anything, and my dad did try to fight against it in court. When I was 7, my mom got with her husband, Greg, and they have kids together. Greg is difficult and an even bigger challenge than my mom, which I wasn't sure was possible for a while, but he has talked about my dad being really girly and how he's worried dad will turn me gay. He and mom tried to sue for custody of me, stating they could give me a 2-parent home, and Greg even tried to argue that he was a better dad to me than my dad was. They lost this battle, of course, but that was the kind of crap they do. Greg would get pissy when I told him he wasn't my dad and I wasn't going to call him dad or pops. He said I should be calling him that and I should want to be his son, since he's such a man and he's with my mom. My dad was the parent I could vent to and never hear a bad word said about mom or Greg. He would never shame me for what I said. He wouldn't push his opinion on me. He would just listen, and he would encourage me to write about it if I needed to. He tried to put me in therapy when I was 8, but my mom blocked it, and the courts were like, just leave it be since he's doing fine in school. Dad bought me a journal to help me write stuff out, and it helped. Greg found it in my bag one day and acted like my dad had dressed me in provocative clothing or something. He was so disgusting about a journal being for girls and not something you give to a son. So I don't like mom or Greg, and I really don't spend any time with their kid, my half-siblings. I know the kids aren't to blame, but I try spending as little time in that house as I can. My dad taught me a lot of life skills, and cooking is one of them. I also know how to sew up holes in clothes and stuff and do general DIY stuff. I'm actually a pretty good cook, and sometimes I cook for dad or our extended family, though usually it's with dad's help when others are over because he says I'm a kid and shouldn't have to do it all. A few weeks ago, Greg decided to stalk my dad's Insta and saw posts dad made about food I cooked for us. Greg told my mom, and they were all kinds of angry that I never cook at their house and I have never ever helped them with dinner or fed anyone there. They told me I should be doing that stuff for them too, and I said no. They wanted one good reason why, and I told them I would never cook for people I dislike, and that's them. Mom went on about how that's dad's fault, and Greg was yelling that I was disrespecting him in his own home. I told him to let me go home then, and they were like, no. Am I the a-hole?
Here are the top comments.
You are 16. In many places, that is old enough to decide that you only want to live with one parent. Is that something you would want to do? Is that something your father would agree to? Your stepfather sounds awful. Not the a-hole for not wanting to be a part of your mother's family.
Not the a-hole you're at the age where a judge will listen to you on custody preferences. This is ridiculous. Start recording them talking about your dad.
Not the a-hole. Lol at your mom trying and failing to baby trap your dad and never realizing she's lucky he's not just in your life, he's a part of it. Are you going no contact with them when you turn 18?